Master craftsman Lance McCormack owns one of Britain's best classic car restoration businesses, Romance of Rust. Helping him manage it is his son Merlin, the cutting-edge salesman, who also runs his own classic car dealership. Together, they turn rust to riches. Merlin has a pair of Chevrolets in stock, and while one of them needs a lot of work, the other one is a bit of a beauty.
This here is quite a rare car. It's one of only a few in the country. It's a 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle SS, based on the Chevy Malibu. Unfortunately, the engine in this car isn't the original engine. What can often happen with American cars, a crate or new factory engines are put into them, which completely deteriorates the value of a car. This one's actually had original 396 325 brake engine sourced for it, which is what it would have had originally, and it's been meticulously restored. The car was shipped into the UK earlier this year.
Such a prize inspired a risky buying strategy on the part of its current owner.
This car was actually bought blind by its owner. However, there are ways around losing sleep at night when you do these things. He paid for an independent inspection to be carried out in America, which provided him with a 350-point checklist of the condition of the car, as well as 100+ photos. So he really knew what he was getting himself in for. But this, I feel confident in saying, is by far the best one in the country, if not in Europe, and it's a show winner.
With so many ways of selling cars available nowadays, Merlin knows the importance of advertising in the right places.
This is the Chevelle that I've got for sale at the moment. I have chosen to advertise this on eBay. We're asking £37,500 for that. I feel that, at that kind of level, eBay is an appropriate place to be listing things like that. Again, were this a £375,000 car, eBay would be the last place I'd put it. I have also got it on a lot of American-specific sites, forums, things like that, because a lot of the American scene in the UK are very hot on their weird, quirky forums.
If the car is as good as Merlin says it is, why is the owner selling it?
The bloke who owns this car actually came to me earlier in the year with a previous Chevrolet he owned, which he sold to buy this car, looking to restore it with Dad. Again, that car needed too much work. He decided to sell it privately on eBay. Bought this car in from the States, and it's too good for him. He needs something a bit more roadworthy, not a trailer queen.
As well as the Chevelle, Merlin also has another Chevrolet on his books.
Here we've got a 1960 Chevrolet Nomad. It's based on the 60 Impala. The Nomad refers to the station wagon, i.e. the estate on the back. It's a 283 Chevy small block engine in there.
While it might not be the prettiest car, the vehicle's had something of an interesting history.
The guy who I got it from had seen it in New York in the 80s. He fell in love with it, and he couldn't afford it. He came back over to the UK and was driving around Yorkshire one day with a friend, and the same car was sitting on a forecourt of just a local car dealer. He couldn't believe it. He had to have it, so lo and behold, he bought it, drove it every day for about 15 years. He then decided to race it down a beach, which is fine if you're going to clean your car afterwards, and let it sit in a yard for 4 years afterwards.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, such treatment has had an adverse effect on the bodywork.
On this car, the rust is indisguisable. You can see here around the rear wheel arch, it's quite literally coming off in your hand. That's an MOT fail. Beyond anything else, it's unsafe, both to pedestrians and to whoever's in the car. The engine is running beautifully. We've just overhauled the brakes for whoever buys it because it wasn't safe to even move. On the outer sill down here, there's a lot of rust bubbles, but what worries me is what's hiding behind them. The inner sill is arguably one of the most vital parts towards the structure of the car. Without it, the car could quite literally snap in half. You'd have to remove the outer sill to fix that, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if you were opening a huge can of worms. The insides of these tend to just completely rot out. You really are just relying on the strength of the roof and the body panels to keep the car looking as it is.
It's not just the exterior that leaves a lot to be desired.
The interior itself has been home to a family of rats before we picked it up for about 7 years, so they've gone to town on the place. We have disinfected the whole thing, hence why I'm sitting in it now, but it does still smell in here.
But being in such poor condition meant it was a bit of a bargain, and one Merlin couldn't resist.
We picked this up for £3,000. It was something that appealed to me more than anything. You shouldn't always follow your heart in this industry, but we've had some fun with it. Back in the day, Dad probably would have looked at finishing this off, taking it on as a project, but the thing is, we've picked up so much business elsewhere of a higher calibre that we really don't need to be doing stuff like this anymore. It is more a labour of love when it comes to stuff like this. There isn't a huge amount of cash in it, and at the end of the day he's trying to run a business.
So what does Merlin plan to do with it now?
It doesn't look quite as bad as it is, and that's saying something because it doesn't look great. Everything from the waist down has gone. I've taken this on as a real project for someone who wants something to keep them busy over winter. It was going to keep them very busy. There's a lot of people who want it for a rat rod or a surf wagon or something. You wouldn't think necessarily there's a huge market for that over here, but I've been pleasantly surprised over the years as to how big the hot rod and American scene has grown over here. Someone's really got their work cut out here, but it's going to make quite a cool wagon once it's done. It really just needs a lot of love from a welder. We're going to ship it on for 4. I think there's enough room left in that price for somebody to take it on and see a profit out of it once they've restored it.
Next time on Rust to Riches.
I'm certainly not going to put a £2,000 pressing on there in the wrong place. I know what they should look like, and they certainly shouldn't look like that.